I just want to welcome you into this space through Wellspring's view of what diversity, equity, and inclusion looks like and how we're enacting it within our services every day. You know, what I like about Wellspring is people can come as their authentic self. And the question I always pose on my own housing staff is like, what are your values? What is your purpose? Interview questions, I always say, what is your purpose? Because if you don't have to think about it and you know your life's purpose and it goes to the value and the mission of the work within where we're working, then that's so important. And I think working at Wellspring is really important because there's so many people with different values, but our goals are the same. So we're all cogs in the wheel trying to make this happen and trying to make this work to make sure people aren't staying in homelessness anymore.
So all the families that we serve in the Early Learning Center are either currently experiencing homelessness or have recently experienced homelessness, and their backgrounds are very diverse. So we have families that are immigrant refugee backgrounds. The majority of the families that we serve are predominantly people of color. So if you were to come into the Early Learning Center, you will see that we have a map of the world that's there, and we have red dots to indicate where the families come from throughout the world.
So the families that are coming into the Free Family Store are those that are experiencing homelessness currently or are potentially at the risk of becoming homeless. And most of the families are also coming from communities that have been marginalized or historically are disproportionately affected in various ways. So they're families that, it's important for us to recognize diversity, equity, and inclusion within our program to make sure that we're serving them effectively and understanding that each family has different needs based off of their past experiences and different things that they've been through in life.
It could be behind the scenes with management on like what they're trying to do, but it's really inclusive of like staff, of like, because they're the ones who are working directly with the community. So it's just trying to gauge what they're feeling and their thinking is.
Same ethic would hold true for our clients, that clients would be treated with respect, would be treated fairly, would have equal opportunity to all services that we provide here, and that we'd minimize any bias that we might have, either conscious or unconscious.
Any great early learning center takes it upon themselves to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion because the children are living in a diverse world. It's important for diversity, equity, and inclusion to be a part of the curriculum. And so the curriculum has many facets to it, and anti-bias is one facet of the curriculum.
We want to make sure that every family walking through our door into the family store feels welcome. So in order to do that, we really want to make sure that all the items we have available would be reflective of the different families' various needs. Since families are coming from different ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, there's a lot of different things that families need, and not every family is the same as each other.
We want this to be a safe space for families. When families walk through the doors of the Early Learning Center, I want it to be the best experience that they've ever had with a social service agency. And I would say with Wellspring as a whole, because the families that we serve, they have encountered a lot of indignities in a lot of spaces that they've entered where they haven't been treated with dignity and respect. And the families, they come to us with a lot of trauma in their background. And so yes, this needs to be a safe space for them when they come in. Again, it's honoring the families that we work with, upholding the strengths that they have as parents, because they want the same things for their children as any other parent. It's just that they need a little bit more assistance with resources.
One of the great things about Wellspring is that our diversity, equity, and inclusion makes all families feel welcome and that they can come to the family store without any hesitation, and that they'll be serviced with great service, customer support. The family store works with other organizations within the community as well who are serving largely communities of color, and those organizations are also committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's really critical that we have these partnerships to make sure that we're aligning ourselves with other organizations who are also committed to doing this work and making sure that that's prevalent in their programs. And I think that's really great that the family store is able to partner with a lot of amazing other organizations.
Over the years, there hadn't been a whole lot of formal acknowledgement of many of the cultural markers for diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the last many years, however, things have changed. Particularly, I'm thinking of the Juneteenth celebrations that we've had. Actually, pre-COVID, they were really highlights of the year, where we would all get together, do a huge potluck, and learn more about racial equity and some history about some of the racial struggles that minorities have had. Currently now, our holiday calendar, particularly for 2021, has been changed to work into honoring more diverse ethnicities and cultures in our holiday schedule. So it's become far more expansive and far more inclusion just this last year, and I would anticipate that's going to continue on into the upcoming years.
Moving forward, working with Wellspring, it has such a rich history, 100 years of history plus of like helping people. But like now, I feel like we're coming into a different era, coming into different dynamics, and understanding like the how, the when, the where, that has to include the who.